Welcome back to Forza Horizon 5, guys, and today we're going to be diving into some footage that the developers actually recently showed. There's footage of a race in a Porsche GT3RS, there's also some free roam in a Ford Fiesta rally car, and they actually dive into a lot of different details about the environment and a lot of different parts of the world. And so without any further ado, let's go ahead and jump into this gameplay. And just to go ahead and let you guys know, the rest of this video is not going to have face cam because I want you guys to be able to really hone in on and focus on the gameplay itself. So without any further ado, let's go ahead and get right into it. Now we're going to begin here in one of the swamp areas with this gorgeous Fiesta rally car, and one of the biggest things that I noticed right off the bat was as they were driving around this area, the water is so incredibly crisp, clear, and gorgeous, and also the roots of the trees just breaking apart and smashing all over the place as you drive through them. I know it's a small detail, or at least it seems like a small environmental detail, but I believe it adds so much to the immersion factor of the game, and not just the immersion factor, but it's another thing to smash up within the Horizon environment, and I think that just adds a whole nother dynamic to the gameplay as a whole. So as you're driving through these sandy dirt roads, the patches of grass in the middle of the road are actually so much more pronounced than they were before. They look so incredible, actually, when you're driving down the road, that I honestly will probably be stopping along these roads many, many times to get photos of my rally cars. Now, as you can see right here, the texture of the dirt completely changes, but the reflection on the water back there, so incredibly beautiful. So incredibly beautiful. You got some buildings up on the side of the road, and then you transition from the darker dirt to more of like a gravel surface, and then it transitions back to a lighter gravel that has some grass in the middle of it, and the actual visuals on display here are, once again, tremendously beautiful. Now, this is more like ripping through a jungle. You got some small buildings kind of on the sides here, and as they rip through this jungle environment, dude, I can already imagine the wild and crazy rally races that people are going to have. And then every time the car goes through the water, my eyes just need a second to catch up, because I find myself staring at the reflections. I find myself staring at the water itself, because once again, the actual level of just really like visual beauty on display here is on such a different level from anything that I've ever seen before. And can we also talk about how this car sounds amazing? It sounds so incredibly good, and then right when you rip the handbrake back onto the road, you're right back onto the environment that you remember again. Now, I want to hear from you guys in the comment section down below. What do you think so far of this jungly, swampy environment, right? It's a really interesting environment, and I think that it's personally going to be one of my favorite environments in terms of what we've seen so far. And I can honestly see myself spending a lot of time in an environment like this, because once again, not only does it provide a lot of great opportunities for racing, provide a lot of great opportunities for free roaming, but it also provides a ton of great opportunities for in-game photography and Forza photography. And the crazy thing about that is the fact that if you actually like look on really any site or any social media platform that has a high emphasis on photography, you'll find Forza-based photography pages, and some of these people put tremendous amounts of time and effort solely into their Forza photography. They probably spend more time like taking photos in the game than they do driving, and that to me, that's wild in my mind, because obviously when I think of Forza, I think of driving, and I think of all the different things that I like to do in terms of cars, and I think of all the different types of driving I like to do. But for some people, they see these environments and they think about the photography aspect of it. They think of how can we position our car to get the best photo that we possibly can. And I think that areas like this are going to provide photography opportunities in game that are on a level that is just completely top tier compared to everything else that we've seen so far. Now, driving around in here as well, I don't know why, but in my head, I can see giant trucks blasting through this woods and like just tearing the trees and like the small shrubs apart. I feel like that's definitely what my buddy Diesel Addict is going to be doing. I'll tell you that much. And you know, to be honest, I'm probably going to be doing the exact same. Comment down below if that's going to be one of your approaches as well. Now, as we continue on into the woods here, you'll actually see that we're coming up on a little bit of a wall, a little bit of a structure that you guys are going to see momentarily, and if you haven't seen this yet, you're going to be absolutely blown away by the visual set pieces on display here. Now, I don't know if we can actually, like, drift up some of those stairs or not, or if we can get our cars into some precarious positions or not, but hopefully we'll be able to figure that out once the game gets a little bit closer to release. Now, there's going to be a lot of interesting things that we can do with an environment like this, and I could totally see this being an arena for different types of playground games. I think that would actually be a really, really cool place to set some of them. So hopefully we'll once again get some more info about that later on down the line. But let me know in the comments down below what you would do with an environment like this, whether that's, you know, maybe your own personal gymkhana run in your favorite rally car, or maybe it's something else. Maybe it's, you know, once again, photography, or maybe it's playing hide and seek with your friends and like using some of these areas as hiding spots. There's a lot of different approaches that one could take with an environment type like this one, for example. Now, as we move forward, once again, we're about to transition into a slightly different type of gameplay, but this particular environment, I have got to say, is one of my favorites that they have shown so far. Now, jumping a little bit ahead to one of the mountain roads, this right here screams drift road to me. This right here screams that I'm going to be building endless amounts of drift cars to come back and hit this stretch of road over and over and over and over. And I know that this is one of the first drift zones that we've seen, but I also think it has the potential to be one of the most competitive drift zones potentially in the game, solely based on where it's set. Because look at it, it's a longer zone. It's got a lot of long sweeping corners. It's definitely going to complement the drifting style of some higher horsepower cars. And, you know, whether you are a person that likes to drift rear-wheel drive or drift all-wheel drive, I definitely think there's going to be a lot of different approaches you can take in terms of setting a really high score on that drift zone in particular. Now, if you're also somebody that likes to do maybe one-on-one mountain race battles, this is also going to be a wonderful place for that. If you like to recreate Initial D in Forza Horizon, you can literally do that right here along this road. I think it's going to be a really, actually, highly used area of the map. And can I just say, the views from up here, absolutely beautiful, absolutely gorgeous view of the mountains, absolutely gorgeous view out over the mountains as well. And moving on into this next bit of gameplay here, we actually get the chance to see what it looks like in winter as well. Now, obviously, the snow is kind of peppered around the road surface. It's not necessarily fully covering the road, but I'm completely 100% okay with that, especially where the game itself is set. And once again, the further you climb up this mountain, the better the views get. It's absolutely gorgeous out over the, I almost want to call it like the plains, but it's more like hills, you know what I mean? Like, you can, from the mountain up here, you can actually look down and see all of these gorgeous rolling hills, different areas of the map, different parts of gameplay that you can engage in, and I definitely am going to be spending a lot of time up here at this mountainous volcano part of the map. I mean, it is just absolutely so beautiful, and once again, I think it speaks to that part of me that loves to just build a bunch of drift cars and take them out to a twisty road. And whether that's building drift cars, building grip cars, I've always been attracted to twisting mountain roads. No matter what racing game it was, I was always attracted to those twisting mountain roads, and this is no exception, and I think it's definitely going to become one of the most interesting and one of the most potentially engaging spots we've seen in the Forza Horizon series thus far. Now, this, I think, would be also a great area to take the Formula D cars. Now, when I was talking about building drift cars earlier, obviously I was talking about taking a car that started out as stock and then maybe throwing, you know, some drift parts on it and then going after it from there. But, I mean, who knows? We may have some Formula D cars in the future, and I think it would be an incredible place to take some of them as well. Now, we don't really know what the status is of those in the future, but I know for one that I would love to see that full collection of them come back. Now, moving ahead once again to a different season, this is where you can actually see that lake up here at the top of the volcano actually thawed out and actually able to be driven through rather than be driven on when it's frozen over. Now, moving ahead from this, I am extremely excited for you guys to see what we're about to see, because we're about to jump off the volcano. We're literally about to see this Fiesta rally car just go flying off the top of a volcano. Now, first of all, where else besides the Forza Horizon series are you going to be able to do that? And secondly, the view that it gives you when they launch this thing off of that danger sign jump, the view that gives you, holy crap, is it amazing and just incredible to look at in every possible way. Because you can literally see not only down across the rolling hills themselves, but you can see out to a coastal town. You can actually see the water. And I think also when you're driving around this this body of water up here at the top of the volcano, really at the same time, I want to continue going up the volcano. I want to find out what's like up there. I want to find out how high you can get. But I think that's going to be something that's going to have to wait until we actually have our hands on the game itself. So, dude, oh my god, I'm just absolutely mind blown about the actual view from up here. You're literally in the clouds. You're literally genuinely in the clouds. And I think, obviously, it reminds me a lot of Fortune Island, but I think with Fortune Island in mind, this seems even more epic. It seems even more gigantic, and the feel of this view, you're about to see it. Holy crap, look at that. And as we jump back into the race gameplay with the GT3RS, I really do think it's cool to compare the view that we got from up there in the Fiesta to the view that we're actually seeing down here. And I feel like it's crazy because that mountain that you're looking at right there is the volcano that we were just on. How incredibly mind-blowing is that? We were literally just up there, and that to me is probably the coolest part of all of the gameplay that they showed recently, is just knowing that the mountain that you can see from down there, or down here, sorry, is a interactive part of gameplay that you could drive all the way to the top of. It really brings into the light how ginormously huge this actual map is. Now, let me know in the comment section down below what you most enjoyed about the gameplay that we showed in this video. Let me know what you're most excited about, and of course, let me know what your favorite car was that we also showed in this video as well. And with that being said, guys, I hope you did enjoy, and if you would like to stay as up to date as possible, make sure you hit that subscribe button and turn those notifications on, and I will see you guys in the next one. Talk to y'all later, and I hope y'all enjoyed.